Okay, so let's get this unboxed and see what we got in the package. Okay, so we got the milestone collection box and the black bands. And an unmarked box. I'll take it as a we were strapping it. Let's get rid of that one. So let's first all just have a quick look. Milestone collection box. Go. Loop, battery within the box, and lift that out. Okay, so taking out the tray, underneath you have the case, or if you're traveling, you can put a banding, has a USB connector in there. And obviously you just store your bands then in the box. And just the gift reward pack in the other box for sending my Wupong to someone else. And the members plaque with my initials on to go onto the box, into the cutout there. And I also ordered an additional strap to go with it because I prefer the Sport Flex straps, the same as I have currently on the 4. Okay, so let me take this out. Take off the protection. And there is the device with the standard strap on it. Let me just take off my 4. It's not a massive amount of noticeable difference within the devices. While the MG is slightly smaller. Let's have a look at the Flex strap. Obviously, one of the bigger differences is that the MG is going to have the cutouts for the ECG on the side there. Let's just have a look at the fastener. So the fastener there has changed now between the 4 and the 5. The actual bracket itself doesn't really look to be changed. Let me just take that off. So the bracket part of the strap itself doesn't look to be changed. But if we now the other end of the strap, which might be do with a clean, but we'll ignore that. We have a look at the other end. This is where it is now changed. You can see that this side is a lot shallower and the gap is a lot smaller. So that is the difference between the 4 and the MG straps. The strap in. Slides onto here like so, and clips into place. Just going to adjust this to something similar to what I had on my 4. There we go. That is the MG strap now on my wrist, and we're ready to set that up now. We pair that with the app and see how we get on with the setup. We'll now pair the Whoop MG with the app. So we do that by going into the menu, click onto the pair, and then we're going to slide the battery onto the Whoop, and then select the MG from the list and click compare again now to connect this to my phone. This is now going to connect to the app, and we'll open up all of the new options available now that the MG is connected. So if I go into health, this will now give me the option for HealthSpan. So I can now click onto the HealthSpan and I can go through the quick menu items that just give me a little bit of information on what is taken into account when these calculations are done. And then at the end of this, it will give me the option to reveal my Wii page. And you'll see from this at the moment, even though I've not been massively active, it's saying I'm 4.4 years younger. And then if I click onto the done, I can get the list of all the different metrics that go into this, and I can see the areas that maybe I need to improve on in order to bring that down even further and improve my score in different areas. So quite insightful, and I'll keep track of this as I go on. Okay, so let's have a look now at blood pressure insights. We're going to click on to access your insights, and this is just going to give us some information just to click through on what is taken into account here and how this works. And then it's going to ask us a couple of questions just to help with the baseline, and then it's going to suggest to us we need to use a cuff to take some blood pressure readings, and those blood pressure readings I'm going to use my Withings blood pressure monitor and enter that into the system. You need to take 3 readings, so I've just sped this up a little bit just to make it a bit quicker so I don't bore you with it. So we're going to take 1 reading, enter that into the app, the first reading, and then we have to take a second reading again and then enter that into the app to start to build up a profile. And what it's going to do with these is after we've taken the third reading, it's going to give us the average of the 3 readings. So we'll do the third one, enter that now into the app, and that is then going to give me my average to set a baseline. And you'll see that entered now onto the Whoop blood pressure insights screen, and then hopefully I'll get insights on a daily basis. Let's now have a look at taking an ECG. It's going to ask you the wrist that you wear your Whoop on, and then you put your finger and thumb onto the indents on the clasp and just hold them there, and it will calibrate, and then it's going to run an ECG that will last around about 30 seconds while it takes the readings. And then at the end of this process, it's going to give you a diagnosis that will let you know if it finds any anomalies. Now, this is pretty similar to what you can already do on the Apple Watch, but I do find that this is a little easier to use and not as fiddly as trying to do it on the Apple Watch, and seems to work quite well. So at the end of this, once this is finished, it's going to come up and just give me the ECG report. I'm going to skip any additional symptoms section, and everything was fine on that report. And like I say, it's quite easy to use. Okay, so this now brings me on to an issue that I have found with the Whoop MG. I use my Whoop a lot as a heart rate monitor on my Peloton equipment, on my tread, on my bike. And I have found that the Whoop MG will not pair at the moment with the standard Peloton bike, not the Bike Plus, just the standard version. You cannot pair the Whoop MG as a heart rate monitor at the moment. Now, I have been in touch with Peloton, and they've told me this is a known issue and they are working on it at the moment. but at the time of recording this video, it's still an outstanding issue. So if you do have the standard Peloton bike at the moment, you're not going to be able to use the Whoop MG as a heart rate monitor. But if I do get a resolution to this, I will post it in the comments as an update. Hopefully this video has been useful, and I'll see you again soon in another video. Thank you.